If my left brain mentality and knowledge of computer programming aided my ability to grasp anomalous, independent yet interwoven universes, then it certainly impeded my ability to understand magic. The problem arose with my conception of a command. In computer programming, commands are sent to the computer in a very formalized way. Computer programming languages are extremely structured and inflexible. Another roadblock to understanding magic, which sprang up because of my computer nerd dispositions, was regarding the parameter of faith. In computer land, countless times have I succeeded brilliantly in solving a problem by a series of random, trial and error potshots that I was sure won't work. And, as if it were part of the ritual, I didn't fail to utter that suspicion aloud either. In most cases, "this won't work" was followed shortly by, "did that just work?" But in magic, absolute faith is necessary. Rule number one, faith. Like every other path of spiritual development, magic requires faith. Without belief and focus, you and your spells are sure to fail. Surely, this is an aspect of the occult that has kept the merely curious at bay. But there was something else about magic that violated and troubled my computer-like mind. Magic's arbitrary nature. While reviewing medieval grimoires, one is struck by the countless strange requirements for a given spell. You have to say these incantations at this time of year, facing that direction. A modern aspirant to the magical arts will find himself saying things like, "the testicle of a wild bull? Where the hell am I gonna get that?" Oh, but don't forget that you have to cut that bull's balls off at midnight, and only in February, or that spell is a big no-go. This may sound like an absurd exaggeration, unworthy of being included in an objective analysis of magic, but this is exactly the kind of stuff one finds while perusing texts about magic written greater than a century ago. One can hardly exaggerate magic's arbitrary, comical, and often contradictory nature. Surely another aspect of the occult that has kept the merely curious at bay. Traces of this truth can be found in popular culture, where you have the witch reading off a list of arbitrary herbs and arbitrary body parts of arbitrary animals and throwing them into a stirring cauldron on arbitrary nights of the year.
Ain't life hard when you got a dream? Standing there, what does it mean? What's coming around, what's going down? Gonna put it out there for you and me. Spin on wheels, round and round. Spinning wheels go round. Spin on wheels, round and round. Keep you moving on down. Spin on wheels, round and round. Spin on wheels, round and round. We got the jam, it's time to act up, stand up, do what we can. Gonna let that soul and spirit fly. So won't you please step aside as these spin on wheels. Spin on wheels, round and round. Spinning wheels go round. Spin on wheels, round and round. Keep you moving on down. Spin on wheels.
Who came up with these rules? And who enforces my command when the recipe is executed properly? Because these are the questions that would occur first to a programmer. Who or what is the program that enforces my will once the spell has executed properly? Why does this program respond to my commands at all? And who the hell was looking over my shoulder to make sure I crept upon that bull on a February night? My feet sporting top-of-the-line running shoes, my trembling hands wielding a knife, and my eyes blazing with emasculating menace. This force looking over my shoulder and executing my commands, I'll call the magical program. If one delves into only a couple books about magic and the occult, they come away believing that magic is terribly inflexible. These rules, as arbitrary as they may be, are still rules. But in truth, there are nearly countless ways of achieving the same goals in magic. Unlike computer land, there are many efficient ways to send the same command to the magical program. The first indication of this fact lies in the many languages used by magicians all over the world to accomplish the same goals or contact the same entities. As I stated in The Name Game, the same entities have gone by many names in different eras and locations. In a ritual intended to conjure a particular entity, the name of choice would be uttered aloud. But you would think that when the rules of magic were etched into the universe, that a single verbal language would be the official language of the magical program. But rather, it appears that the magical program speaks all languages. Even if you locked yourself in a room with a magic 8-ball and created a whole new language based on its answers, rituals done in that language will still succeed. And if they didn't, it was probably because your brain doesn't have the deep ties and imagery to the words of your newly created language. Although magicians admit that some verbal and written languages have inherent power, in reality, any will do. Those languages which magicians claim have occult virtues are many old and dead tongues, like Hebrew, Chaldean, etc. Many good magicians suggest that although using unfamiliar languages in rituals will achieve the same result, it is unadvisable to do so. They advise that you use your mother tongue so that you know exactly what you're asking for. Embedded in this tip lies a truth. Use your mother tongue, whichever it may be. It appears that the magical program speaks every language, even the noble tongue of 8-ball. But there is indeed a method to the madness. Magicians will incorporate foreign languages, or alternate names, into their spellings and writings to hide the true meaning from the profane in the case that they are discovered. Symbols constitute the other method by which they guard their secrets. The quote-unquote profane are those unilluminated by magic. Magicians are accustomed to living a secretive life, and for more than one reason. The first reason for all the cloak and dagger is the persecutions magicians have suffered at the hands of everyone from organized religion all the way down to small-town lynch mobs. Men of science have also suffered similar fates. The second reason for all the secrecy is based on the simple principle that knowledge is power. Put simply, the less you know, the mightier their power is. Sadly, many magicians go to great lengths to promote atheism and disbelief in the paranormal. A world full of disbelievers is a playground for the magicians. The third reason for all the misdirection is fear, from knowing that the bad magicians will kill them. Even the most well-meaning, God-fearing, and benevolent magicians of this age and ages past regarded the profane as inferior and unworthy of these secrets. And a part of me is inclined to agree. The average man whittles his life away watching mind-numbing TV and buying crap they don't need, while the answers to some of the universe's deepest truths were only a couple mouse clicks away, and usually free. Even legendary magicians like Amberlin, who was more white sheets than any preacher you'll ever meet, regarded the common man as unworthy. So even though I agree with their reasoning, as your author and humble narrator, I'm sure it's quite obvious that I agree, just not enough. I believe in disclosure, because the facts that these magicians know about the world does affect the average man every day. One example of many, magicians know that many cases of mental disorders are not psychological, but spiritual. Still, they promote the psychological assertions of men like Freud and Darwin